It's 2020, so let the new RCs begin. Today, we've got the latest 1.9 trail truck from Vanquish Products. It's the VS4-10 Ultra. Now, some of this truck is the same and some of it is not, and so that's exactly what we're gonna discuss today. So we've got a lot of ground to cover, so strap your portals on and let's do this. Now, it was only just a few years ago that Vanquish Products was exclusively an accessory company. If you had a trail truck, they were the go-to company for things like aluminum beadlock wheels, aluminum axles, aluminum light bars, lockers, all those really nice high-end aluminum upgrades. And it stayed that way for years up until 2018 when they finally officially released their VS4-10 Origin. Their baby. It was a one-of-a-kind trail truck milled from a solid block of aluminum. Oh, that's not true? That's not true. Shortly after, the VS4-10 Origin Black Edition was released, and it included all of the same aluminum goodies, but instead of being in a silver anodized, it now came in the stealthy black finish. In 2019, we saw the birth of the VS4-10 Pro that took out that old 3-gear transmission and plopped in the more purpose-built and Vanquish-designed VFD transmission, which moved the motor more forward and low for optimal performance. Now it's 2020 and we have the VS4-10 Ultra, which builds off of the success of the Pro, so it still contains that VFD transmission, but the Ultra now includes the almighty and expensive Currie F9 portal axles. As many of you know, Vanquish released their F9 Currie axles back in 2018 with silver and black options. Now, these portals were and still are fairly expensive, with a $500 retail value for picking up both the front and the rear axle. But with the Ultra, those same portal axles are now included with this kit. The older VS4-10s did include aluminum axles as well, but they weren't portal axles. So this is a little bit more special. To start, the front portal axle on this truck does feature that signature offset front pumpkin. This is the only configuration in which you can get it. You can't buy portal axles like that, although maybe that will change in the future. The axles also feature chromoly internal axle shafts, and then that little output shaft that sticks through. It's a 6mm output shaft that uses an M5 wheel nut. Now, because that M5 nut is a little bit bigger than what you would normally use, which would be an M4 nut, that M5 nut takes up more space in the beadlock wheel hubs, and it makes it so a normal 8mm wheel nut driver just won't fit. You need a nut driver that is very thin-walled in order to make it fit. So for people who picked up the Vanquish portal axles, you found this out, that you had two options to either grind down an 8mm driver that you already own to make the walls very thin, or you could buy this specialty tool that Vanquish offered for those portals, and it worked great. The trouble with that is finding it in stock sometimes, because it was really one of a kind, and if you had the portals, you needed it. Well, with the VS4-10 Ultra, it's going to include one, so it's no longer going to be an issue. Now, for the power to feed those axles, the VS4-10 Ultra includes a retail version of the VFD transmission, and I say it's the retail version because if you look at the VFD that was included with the VS4-10 Pro truck, that transmission had a few aluminum bits and pieces here and there that were intended to help strengthen up that transmission. Well, I'm told with this truck, that retail VFD transmission, which has all the same pieces, but they're all in plastic, is plenty strong for the Ultra. So that's the version of the VFD that's included. I hope I said that right. Also, because this truck is using both the VFD transmission and portal axles, the gear reduction in the truck is especially low. So to help boost that a little bit, Vanquish wanted to give the truck a bit more wheel speed. So what they've done is overdriven both axles. So in the front and the rear axle, they come standard with the updated overdrive gearing set. Now, what this means is that if you really do want to overdrive the front, you can go about it a couple of different ways. You can get the front overdrive gear set for the transfer case and do it that way, or you can pick up the standard portal gear set and remove the overdrive set, throw in those stock gears, and then that will overdrive the front as well. So there's a few different ways you can do it. Now for suspension on the VS4-10 Ultra, we will find 80mm incision shocks. They're plenty smooth, they're aluminum, they look good, they operate well. Their significance is they're 10mm shorter than the shocks that have come on previous VS4-10s, and that is to help soak up the extra height of the portal axles because they are taller, which tends to push the body of the truck taller, which we don't want. We want to maintain that truck height. So to do that, Vanquish has included 80mm shocks with the Ultra. There are probably a ton of little details and things that I'm missing to tell you guys and show you about, but I'm told that the VFD transmission, those portal axles, and then the 80mm shocks are really the main steak and potatoes of what makes the Ultra the Ultra. Now, as far as the remaining VS4-10 platform, this is a 12.3 inch or a 313mm wheelbase, 1.9 inch electric four-wheel drive, 1/10 scale trail truck. It uses a 3-link panhard front setup. It has an aluminum panhard link. The rear end, it uses a 4-link setup. Those are incision stainless steel links under there, and above those, you'll see incision steel drive shafts. This also gives us a really good picture of how straight that front drive shaft is, thanks to that offset front axle pumpkin. If we flip the truck over, you see the underside is really smooth. The skid plate and the side rock guards here seem to be made out of the same plastic as the bumpers. Maybe it's a Delrin, but it's just really slick and smooth, almost just silky underneath here. That should really help aid in getting over rocks and obstacles. Now, if we move on to the tires and wheels, the Ultra uses Incision KMC Machete plastic beadlock wheels. These feature a plastic hub on the other side, and of course the aluminum incision hubs are compatible here. Our 1.9 tires are Vanquish branded VXT. They have a 4.65 inch diameter, and they're made out of a sticky natural rubber compound with firm inserts inside. These VXT tires feature a scale realistic tread pattern that helps really tie into our Origin half cab body that in itself has a lot of scale accessories on it, with our molded windshield wipers, door handles. We have this full grille, we have front light buckets, rear light buckets, this bed back here, and of course our interior Lexan piece that you can paint and create to make however you want. One last scale detail would be the wheel wells underneath the body. Once those get painted black, that blacked out look under the wheel wells really helps enhance that scale look. And it's one of those things that's a small touch but adds a lot of realism. Now, the VS4-10 Ultra will be available in the black or the clear, just like the Pro model, and black is with black axles and clear is with the silver axles. And at the time of its release, the Ultra will have a street price of about $830. Since the truck is a kit, it will require assembly, and then all of the Lexan pieces, which includes the body, the interior piece, and then those wheel wells under there, will need to be painted with polycarbonate specific paint. The Lexan does come laser cut though. And since it's a kit, all other electronic components will be required, and at the minimum you'll need a steering servo, 540 sized motor, an ESC, a battery pack, and a transmitter radio system. Shock fluid, grease, and thread locker are also great things to have on hand. Now, for savings when purchasing those electronics, AMain Hobbies has put together a few different electronic combos that include the servo, the battery, the motor, and the ESC at a discounted price than buying them separately. And those combos come at 3 different price points with brushed and brushless options. If that's something you're interested in checking out, we'll link to it down below along with the VS4. Guys, thanks for watching this video on the VS4-10 Ultra. Give this video a like and be sure to smash that subscribe button. I'm Brett with AMain Hobbies. Thanks for watching.